Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank Department of Physics and special thanks to Dr. C.P. Sir of Namchi Government College and Sikkim University for providing me such a platform to make a video for the partial fulfillment of BSc Honours on Physics at 6th semester from February to July 2021. Myself Pranita Pradhan and my roll number is 18 NS0008. So in this video we will be discussing about octal symmetry of mesons and baryons. Starting with the introduction of baryons, in 1964, a model named as quark model was formulated. This model proposed that the system of some fundamental particles known as quark, and this quark was believed to be the constituent of the nucleons present inside the nucleus. And at that time it was believed that this quark exists only in three types, which are up, down and strange, denoted by U, D and S. But now we know that these quarks are having 6 types, and it was also observed that this quark, they were not present in the free state, which means they must be bound together by strong interquark potential. Experiments were performed to verify this idea, such as an experiment was performed in 1960s, and name of the experiment was deep inelastic scattering experiment, which proves the existence of nucleus inside the atom. In the similar way, deep inelastic scattering experiment was performed, in which a beam of leptons was bombarded on the nucleons at very high energies, and this experiment demonstrated that the nucleus are indeed made up of light point-like constituent known as partion. And later on, partion were identified as quark, and all this information about the fundamental particles was encapsulated in a standard model of particle physics. It was developed in 1970s. The standard model postulates that everything that we see in this universe is made up of some elementary particle, which is called quark and leptons. And this quark is always present in the bound state, that is, they are present in the form of baryons and mesons. For mesons are the fundamental particles carrying a single unit of charge and possessing mass intermediate between electron and protons. The mesons named was given by the Chinese scientist whose name was Yakuwa in 1935. These are of 3 types, that is pi mesons, which is known as pions, K mesons, which is also known as kaons, and eta mesons. Since eta is singlet, so it is called as eta mesons only. The mesons are the interaction agent between nucleus. So before moving on, let us first discuss about quark model. Quark model is classification for hadrons, and these hadrons are not really elementary. They are made by quark and antiquarks. So properties for quark models are: all quark have the baryon number of 1 by 3, and for antiquark baryon number is negative of 1 by 3. So quark are spin half particles, that is fermions, and this quark consists of 6 elements, that is top, bottom, charm, strings, and the up and the down quarks. So for up, charm and the top quarks, we have the charge plus 2 by 3, and for the strange, down and the bottom quark, we have the charge of minus 1 by 3. Each quark obeys Gilman-Nishigium formula individually. So now For baryons and mesons, based on their quark, we have for baryons, it is made up of 3 quarks, and their baryon number is 1. And mesons based on quark, mesons are pair of quark and antiquark, and for mesons its baryon number is 0, since mesons does not belong to the family of baryons. Most importantly, the mass of any baryons or mesons is not the product of constituent quark, and baryons and mesons are built by the up quark, down strange quark, and their antiquarks. So now let us discuss about the classification of elementary particles on the basis of mass, spin, and interaction. First, classification of elementary particles on the basis of mass. Here, particles are classified into leptons, mesons, and hadrons. So mass for leptons varies from 0 to 134 range, and its unit is million electron volt per c square. For mesons, we have mass varies from 134 to 939 million electron volt per c square, and for hadrons the mass is greater than 939 million electron volt per c square. So therefore, on the basis of mass, we can classify it in 3 parts, and from this we get to know the range of masses too. So further classification of elementary particles on the basis of spin, it is divided into 2 parts, which is mainly bosons and fermions. Here, what is bosons? Bosons are those elementary particles which has spin in integral form. That is, spin can be 0, 1, 2, and so on. And for fermions, it has the spin in half integral, that is 1 by 2, 3 by 2, and so on. Further classification of bosons, we get massless bosons and mesons. In massless bosons, we have photons and gravitons, which has spin 1 for photons and 2 for gravitons. And while classifying mesons, we have 3 parts, that is kaons with member K plus and K naught. For pions, we have 3 member, that is pi plus, pi minus, and pi naught. And lastly, for eta mesons, it's single, so it is called eta naught. And while classifying fermions, we have leptons and baryons. For leptons are further classified into 12 lepton particles, that is electron, mu, and tau, which are the main particles. And from here, this negative sign denotes its charge, that is, it has -1 unit of charge each. Further, let us write its neutrino of the particles, which is electron neutrino, mu neutrino, and tau neutrino. And lastly, we write the antiparticles of the 6 particles, the above 6 particles, which gives the total of 12 lepton particles. Here, baryons is also classified into 2 parts, which is nuclears and hyperons. Talking about nucleons, it has 2 particles, neutrons and protons. And for hyperons, it has 4 types, that is sigma, xi, lambda, and omega. So symbol for sigma, it is sigma plus sigma minus and sigma naught. That is, sigma consists of 3 members. Likewise, for xi, we have xi minus and xi naught, which is also known as cascade, cascade minus and cascade naught. And for lambda, lambda is singlet, so we have lambda naught. And lastly, for omega, we have omega minus. So by this, we also learned about classification of elementary particles on the basis of spin. So now let us discuss about isospin. What is isospin? Here iso means the same, and which has the same number of spin is known as isospin. So isospin is originated from charge which is found in nuclear, and it is used to distinguish proton and neutron. So formula for isospin is m equals to 2i plus 1. Here m is the multiplicity and I means isospin, which is approximate conserved quantity. Further, going through third component of isospin, it varies from plus I to minus of I. So taking some examples, for singlet particle we have lambda naught and eta naught. So putting formula of isospin, we get m equals to 2i plus 1. We know that m is the multiplicity, and for singlet particle, singlet particle, the member is only 1, so multiplicity is equals to 1. So putting the value 1 equals to 2i plus 1. Further calculating, 2i equals to 1 minus 1. So 2i equals to 0. So therefore I becomes 0. Since isospin, third component of isospin varies from plus I to minus I. So therefore I3 varies from plus 0 to minus of 0. Similarly, for double particle, we have proton and neutron, which is with member of 2, and K plus and K naught. Putting formula and by solving it, we get isospin of half. So therefore, third component of isospin varies from plus 1 by 2 to negative of 1 by 2. Similarly, also for triplets particle, we have sigma plus, sigma minus and sigma naught. Since triplet means 3, so member of triplet particle will be multiplicity of triplet particle will be 3. So putting the values, we get a multiplicity 3 equals to 2i plus 1. With further calculating, we get I equals to 1. So therefore third component of isospin varies from plus 1 to minus of 1. Since it consists of 3 members, so values comes in 3 types, that is 1, 0 and minus of 1. Moving on, we have strangeness quantum number. What is strangeness? It represents the orbit number like K, L, M, N. So it denotes the number of basically it denotes the number of atoms present in the outermost shell. So strangeness particle always produce in a pair, that is input and output are in same amount with pairs like 2, 4, 6 and 8 etc. So taking some examples, we have pi plus p, which gives us lambda naught and k naught, which means that the number of particles is same as the number of outcome particles, that is left hand side is equals to right hand side, and it comes in the pair. Here there is 2 particles, and here in the right hand side also there is 2 particles. So that is which belongs to strong interaction. Further it produce in number 2 it produce strong interaction, and number 3 it decays via weak interaction. For a strangeness particle, for a strange particle, strangeness is not equal to 0. That is value, that is it has some value like -1 or -2 or any, and for other particles strangeness is 0. For a strange quantum number, it is approximate conserved quantity, which means it is sometimes conserved and sometimes it is not conserved. So formula for calculating the strangeness quantum number, we have Q equals to I3 plus B plus S divided by 2. Here what is Q? Q is the charge and I3 is the isospin, third component of isospin, and B itself is baryon number and S gives us the strangeness quantum number. Dealing with some examples, for K ions we have K plus and K naught. So for K plus we have charge Q equals to plus of 1, and since it does not belong to baryon family, the baryon number is 0 for the K plus ions. So third component of isospin is given by M equals to 2I plus 1. So since K ion is the member containing of 2, so 2 equals to 2I plus 1, which gives us I equals to 1 by 2. Since I3 varies from plus 1 to minus of 1, therefore for K plus I3 varies from for K ions I3 varies from plus 1 to minus of 1, plus 1 by 2 to minus of 1 by 2. So I3 for K plus is 1 by 2, and for K naught the remaining part, that is minus of 1 by 2. So now calculating the strangeness quantum number, we have Q equals to I3 plus B plus S divided by 2. So putting the above mentioned value in the given equation, we get charge Q equals to 1 equals to 1 by 2 plus 0 plus S divided by 2. Here we get 2 minus 1 divided by 2 equals to S by 2 by simply taking this 1 by 2 in the left hand side and calculating, we get S divided by 2 which equals to 1 by 2, and by solving it we get the strangeness number 1 for K plus. And also for calculating K naught, we get the strangeness number which is equals to 1. Similarly, for sigma particle, we have a strangeness quantum number equals to minus of 1. For xi and xi or cascade particle, we have minus of 2, and for lambda it is minus of 1, and for omega it is minus of 3. I haven't shown the calculation part for obtaining the above strangeness quantum number, but you can try to calculate it. It is similar as the calculated part of K ions. So further, strangeness quantum number is conserved for electromagnetic interaction and for strong interaction. For weak interaction, strangeness is conserved for leptonic particles and not conserved for the hadronic particles. Moving on, our next topic is hypercharge. Here hypercharge is denoted by capital Y and is related to the electron charge and third component of isospin. Hypercharge is approximate conserved quantity, that is it is sometimes conserved and sometimes not. So formula for hypercharge, we have in number 1 there are 3 formula for calculating hypercharge. One is Y equals to 2 into average charge of member of multiplets, and second formula which is Y equals to B plus S. Here B is the baryon number and S is the strangeness quantum number. And for third method, that is y equals to 2 into q minus I3. Here q is the charge and I3 means third component of isospin. So note that hypercharge is conserved in strong interaction and electromagnetic interaction. So now we came across our main topic, which is baryon octet. And here baryon octet means the number of particles we use is 8, and the figure shows us that it is a 6-sided benzene ring type structure where the total of 6 particles is arranged in the corner of 6-sided benzene ring, and the remaining 2 particles is arranged in the center, which gives us the total of 8 particles. But we know that in actual baryon family have total of 9 particles, but in this baryon octet we will use only 8 particles, and the remaining 1 particles omega we will use it in baryon decuplates. Looking through the figure, y-axis denotes hypercharge, which varies from plus 1 to minus of 1, and x-axis denotes the I3, which is third component of isospin. In this figure, we need to arrange the particle in such a way that in left hand side we have to keep all the negative particles, and in right hand side we need to place the positive particles. So here for the first row we place proton and neutron, which varies from plus positive charge to negative charge from right hand side to left hand side. In second row we place sigma plus, then in center we place sigma naught and lambda naught, and in left hand side we place sigma negative, which also varies from positive charge to negative charge. So lastly in third row we place sigma naught, and in left hand side we place sigma negative. So by this we kept the 8 particles inside the 6-sided benzene ring. So further moving on, let us see what is charge for this given particles. Here charge is arranged in the diagonal form. For the center particles, that is for n, neutron, sigma naught and lambda naught, and lastly cascade naught. For these 4 particles their charge is 0. For particle proton and sigma plus, their charge is positive of 1, and for particle sigma minus and cascade minus, their charge will be negative of 1. So this was for the charge. And for the strangeness quantum number, for first row their strangeness quantum number is 0. For the second row their strangeness quantum number is negative of 1, and for third row their strangeness quantum number is negative of 2. By this we came to know across what is hypercharge, what is third component of isospin, what is charge for the particles, what is strangeness quantum number. I hope that you all understand about what is given in the figure. If not, let us quickly take a recap. So for y-axis we take that it is as a hypercharge, and for x-axis it is third component of isospin, which is denoted by I3. The particles are arranged along right hand side to right hand side, that is positive particles to the negative particles. For y-axis their hypercharge varies from plus 1 to minus of 1, and which is why for proton and neutron their hypercharge is 1. For sigma plus, sigma naught, lambda naught and sigma negative, their hypercharge is 0, and for cascade naught and cascade negative, their hypercharge is minus of 1. So this was this for the hypercharge. And for third component of isospin, for proton, sigma plus and cascade naught, their third component of isospin is for proton and cascade naught, their isospin is plus 1 by 2. For sigma plus it is 1. For lambda naught and cascade naught it is 0. For neutron and cascade negative, their third component of isospin is minus 1 by 2, and for sigma minus it is minus of 1. This is all about third component of isospin. And now for the charge. For charge is denoted by the dash line, and which is in the form of diagonals. For cascade for cascade negative and sigma minus, their charge is minus of 1. For neutron and sigma naught, lambda naught and cascade naught, their charge is charge is 0. And for proton and sigma plus, their charge is plus 1. Lastly, for their strangeness quantum number, first row strangeness quantum number is 0. For the second row, their strangeness quantum number is negative of 1. And for last row, which is cascade naught and cascade minus, their strangeness quantum number is minus of 2. Moving on, here is the summary table for what we have learned just now. So in this summary table, we don't have to do much. We just need to place the value what we have learned in this figure, then the summary table will be completed. So here there are particles 6, there are 8 particles kept in series, which is proton and neutron, sigma plus, sigma naught, sigma negative, cascade negative, cascade naught, and lastly lambda naught. So we already know that their isospin for proton and neutron is 1 by 2, and for sigma plus, sigma naught and sigma minus, its isospin is 1. For cascade negative and cascade naught, 1 by 2, and for lambda naught it is 0. So third component of isospin for proton and neutron will be plus 1 by 2 and minus 1 by 2. For sigma particles, which is sigma plus, sigma naught and sigma minus, their isospin, third component of isospin will be plus 1 for sigma plus, 0 for sigma naught, and minus 1 for sigma minus. Similarly, for cascade minus and cascade naught, their isospin will be 1 by 2 for cascade minus, and cascade naught it is 1 by 2. For lambda naught it is 0. We know that all these particles belongs to the baryon family, so for all the particles, their baryon number will be 1, which is for all particles, that is 1. So moving on, there is S, which is strangeness quantum number. So there is formula Y minus B, which gives strangeness quantum number. So you can solve with this and derive the strangeness quantum number, or we just go back and look at the figure. So for the first particle, that is first row, particle P and N, so their strangeness quantum number is 0. So we can directly place the value from figure to the table. So for proton and neutron, their strangeness quantum number is 0. For sigma particle, that is sigma plus, sigma naught and sigma minus, their strangeness quantum number is minus of 1. For cascade naught and cascade minus, their strangeness quantum number is minus 2. For lambda it is minus of 1, which we came to know from the figure itself. So why wise hypercharge. So hypercharge for proton and neutron is 1. For sigma plus, sigma naught and sigma minus, it is 0. For cascade minus and cascade naught, it is minus of 1. And for lambda, it is 0. So similarly, likewise, what we have discussed for the strangeness quantum number and hypercharge, for charge also we can directly derive it from the figure. For proton and neutron, their charge is for 1 and 0, and for sigma plus it is 1, for sigma naught it is 0, for sigma minus it is 1. For cascade minus, it is minus of 1. For cascade 0, cascade naught, it is 0. And lastly, for lambda naught, it is 0. So by this we come to understand what is Baryon octet and the summary table. Now our last topic, which is Meson octet. Meson octet is also same as Baryon octet. Here we just have to place particle of Meson family and just arrange the particles as described in Baryon octet. So here y-axis denotes the hypercharge, then x-axis represents the third component of isospin, which is from right hand side to left hand side, positive to negative. Here right hand side, right hand side, plus 1 is for pi plus, 1 by 2 for k plus and k naught bar, then 0 for pi naught and eta naught, then for k naught and k minus, it is minus of 1 by 2, and for pi minus, it is minus of 1. These are the I3, which is third component of isospin. So after that we draw the dashed line which represents the charge. For central line, q is equals to 0. That means 0 particles, k naught and k minus naught, whose particles belongs to 0, their charge will be also 0. Likewise, for the negative particle charge is minus of 1, and for positive particle charge it is plus of 1. And then after it is strangeness quantum number, which has given outside the figure in left hand side. Strangeness quantum number varies from plus 1 to minus of 1, that is from top to bottom. Strangeness quantum number for k naught and k plus is plus of 1, 0 for pi plus, pi naught, eta naught and pi plus, and for k minus and k bar naught it is minus of 1, the strangeness of quantum number. By this, now we have to arrange all the values in the table. So likewise of Baryon, we do the same for the Meson summary table. Here we arrange the particle row wise, that is k plus, k naught, pi plus, pi naught, pi minus, eta naught, k bar naught and k minus. So we have placed the particle. So now let us fill up the other tables too. So first we have isospin I, which is 1 by 2 for k plus and k naught, and 1 for pi plus, pi naught and pi minus, 0 for eta naught, and half for k ions particle, which is k bar naught and k minus. So I3, which is third component of isospin, for k plus it is 1 by 2, for k naught it is minus of 1 by 2, for pi plus it is plus 1, for pi naught it is 0, for pi minus it is minus of 1, for eta naught it is 0. For k bar naught it is 1 by 2, and for k bar, I mean k minus, it is minus of 1 by 2. The value which we are putting here, it's nothing than the value which we got from the figure. We are just placing the value in row wise, in column wise, as exact as shown in the figure. So moving on, we have baryon number. Since we know that meson's particle does not belong to baryon particle, so therefore for this particle their baryon number will be 0. Then moving on, we have strangeness quantum number. So we also know that from the figure itself, for the first row k plus and k naught, their strangeness quantum number is 1, and for second row, that is pi plus pi naught, pi minus and eta naught, we have the strangeness quantum number of 0, and for last row, which is k minus and k bar naught, we have the strangeness quantum number of minus of 1. So again, for the hypercharge, which is denoted by y, we can solve by b plus s equals to y, or we can directly put it from the figure itself, the value of y for k plus and k naught, which is 1, for pi plus for the second row, which is pi plus pi naught, eta naught, and minus of pi, which is 0, and for the last row bottom row, which is k minus and k bar naught, it is minus of 1. So by this we just completed writing the hypercharge for the meson's particle. So last we have is the charge. So charge for the k plus and k naught, we have so let's take it this way. So we have charge for k plus and pi plus, which is of plus 1, for k naught, pi naught, eta naught, and k bar naught, we have the charge of 0, and for pi minus and k minus, which we have the charge of minus of 1. So putting that in the column, so we get the value of q also. So by this we completed the meson's octet, and from here we came to know that this figure shows the octosymmetry of mesons, which contains 8 particles of mesons family, and y-axis denotes the hypercharge, and x-axis denotes the third component of isospin, and this dashed line denotes the charge, and strangeness quantum number is given in the left hand side of the figure. So by this we have completed the topic octal symmetry of mesons and baryons.